All right, we have joining us from our Abuja studio, Senator of Nigeria and a one-time senator and a political analyst, Senator Saidu Dansadao. Good morning, Senator Dansadao. It's good to have you join us in the studio.
Good morning. Thank you very much. But make no mistake.
Okay.
I am an extinguished senator. I served Nigerian Senate 1999-2007.
Exactly. Once a senator is always a senator. Thank you very much. Now, let me start this way. When it comes to the ethnic composition of Nigeria, we have always been here. There is no new ethnic group coming from anywhere outside Nigeria to join what we have now. And when it comes to clashes between either religion or ethnic or region, I wonder why these things come up and go and come up and go, and we've not learned how to live with each other until now. Can you talk to us about some of the issues that Nigerians need to really understand?
Seems you're having issues with the audio.
Understand each other's culture, tradition, and in fact, teachings of our respective religions. We need to understand that power belongs to God. And we need to understand that the essence of human creation is to serve God and humanity. God and humanity. Not to God and my ethnic group. Not to God and your ethnic group. God and humanity. So in the eyes of God, there is no difference between what you ought to do, uplift the living standards of the people of your ethnic group and other ethnic groups. Serving your ethnic group by the teaching of the Holy Quran and by the teaching of the Holy Bible is an offense against God. We as Nigerians should understand that whatever we do, we should look at all Nigerians as our brothers and sisters. We should look at all geographical locations in this country as our own. When there is problem in Bayelsa State, the people of Jigawa, they should see that it is their own problem. This is the only way we will make progress, get ourselves out of this socio-economic and political predicament that have bedeviled this nation for so long. And more importantly, politicians should fear God. Because most of these ethnic, religious, and geographical jingoism that has been preached in this country is being preached by politicians and some illiterate Islamic and Christian clerics. Why I call them illiterate? I wonder when you see an Islamic scholar or a Christian cleric preaching ethnicity, preaching differences in religion, preaching all these kind of vices. Those who teach this to their followers, they know what they are doing is not right. They know what they are doing is against God. Because the teachings of Jesus are there for everybody to learn. The teachings of the Holy Prophet are there for everybody to learn. And where you are talking about interpersonal relationship, there is no any difference between the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are things. Let me cite an example for you. Christianity does not condone corruption. So also Islam. Christianity and Islam teach us how to treat our neighbors. They teach us how to live peacefully with one another, either as Christians or Muslims, or as different tribes.
Okay.
Yet, our politicians, well, you don't believe our politicians, some of them don't know, because they don't know the teaching of their religion. But the most amazing thing is that the clerics that know very well the teachings of the Holy Bible and the teaching of the Holy Quran to be preaching this is a very, very unfortunate thing.
Okay, Senator.
Let me cite an example for you.
Senator, because of time.
Yes.
Okay, let's just come in here because of time so that we
Yeah.
can make the discussion more robust. At the social-cultural meeting,
Thank you.
Which you attended, of course, you made a statement and you even accused traditional rulers as part of the problem. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, honestly, I can. You see, like I said during the summit, not only empirical evidence, there is intelligence evidence from security agencies that traditional rulers from the lowest level to the highest level in the Zamfara state are deeply involved in these killings. Some of them indirectly, and in fact some of them directly, because they benefit from the proceeds of this criminality. So that's number two. The issue of farmland that people own, when some of the innocent Fulanis migrated from the president at the heat of the crisis, some of the traditional rulers sold their farmlands, but by the time they come back, when there was relative peace, for them to take over their farms, they met some other people claiming ownership of those farmlands, as a result of which crisis erupted again. Some killings took place because the Fulani are saying this is our farm, and the indigenous are saying we bought this farm from so-so and so-so. And by the time you trace that person who sold the land, is either a relative of a traditional ruler or he is a village head. So these are part of the complication, you know, of the problem. And like I said earlier on, there is undisputable evidence of the involvement of traditional rulers, of the involvement of functionaries of government, top functionaries of government, involvement of some Islamic clerics in this matter in the Zamfara state, involvement of indigenous themselves serving as informants to these criminals, some of them serving as nurses or medical personnel who treat these criminals whenever they are injured by security agencies. There is involvement of a large spectrum of people who are indigenous of the Zamfara state. One thing that may amaze you, somebody that was detected to be an informant was killed by some people in the course of investigation. Is a dispenser, is a medical paramedical personnel on level, receiving salary of 18,000 naira per month. And 41 million was seen in his account. You can't believe it. 41 million
Incredible.
was found in his account. So it's so much a complicated issue.
All right.
And that's why I said during the summit,
yes,
that the agony security agencies are going through in the Zamfara state is worse than what we are going through as victims of this crisis.
All right,
because
Senator.
they have intelligence reports.
Yeah, Senator Dansadao,
Yes.
apart from Zamfara, because Zamfara is a place that has been recording lots of killings recently, there is also Benue, there is also Taraba State, there's also Plateau State, there's Adamawa State, and some other, even in Kaduna State.
Yes.
Now, in all of this, Nigerians are very concerned that in as much as you mentioned, you made reference to officials of government and traditional rulers, the government itself, the federal government, seem not to, from the body language of the government, not coming decisively to handle these issues or call these people to sit down and see how solutions can be found. A lot of people are saying the government is deliberately turning the blind eye.
Honestly speaking, I think that is up to a point. It's not completely true, but partially true. Why am I saying this? As I'm talking to you now, in my village, there are 150 soldiers in my village. In fact, with 2 armored tanks, well equipped, but in most cases, they don't have the diesel to move out. They themselves are hungry. They don't have food to eat. No allowances, nothing. So you can now see that, yes, federal government has given the security agency with right hand, and they have taken out with left hand. Or some of the operators are sabotaging the effort of the federal government per se. Why? Because you have given the soldiers, you have drafted the soldiers to the scene, you have given them the equipment, but they don't have the allowances, they don't have what to eat. And part of the agony would go through, sometimes when they are hungry, they go to a village, shoot in the air, the villagers will run away, and they will take rice bags, vegetable oil, take some goats in order to have food to eat. So this is part of the serious problem. My understanding of the issue is that when federal government gives money for this operation to take care of the foot soldiers, I don't think the money leave Abuja. Some people have here share the money. And the one state governors also give money to assist, not maybe just a quarter of the money gets to the foot soldiers. This is the problem. My problem with the federal government is that they don't monitor. They don't monitor their activities. They just release money. And this is in all sectors, you know, of our economy. And I keep on appealing to President Muhammadu Buhari to monitor closely operations of different departments of government, so that when you release money, you make sure that money is adequately and completely utilized for the purpose it is meant. But the situation today, which wasn't the situation, which make the fight against this insurgency, the fight against this banditry unsuccessful, is the fact that the money that is being given for it is not being used for the purpose.
Not well utilized. All right, Senator.
That's the crux of the matter.
Senator, do you in essence then agree with former President Olusegun Obasanjo that the government is incompetent when it comes to addressing this problem?
Honestly speaking, I believe so. Me too, in several occasions I have said so. Most of the predicaments, most of the crises we find ourselves is in fact the product and manifestation about the governance. That's my belief. And the government functionaries keep on arguing that this crisis didn't start during the present administration. Yes, that's quite true. It is an accumulated, phenomenon that started quite long ago. But why did we elect the government? Why did we elect President Buhari as president? Because we believe he was president before, he was governor before, he was minister before. We thought he has the wealth of experience to be able to confront these long-standing problems, these long-standing socio-economic challenges, so that at least we will have a stop to it. We are not saying it should be ameliorated overnight, but what we are saying, they should stop. And then gradually, we find our level. But what we are saying, that things are becoming worse and worse by the day. And we have not seen, in practical terms, serious concern from the eyes of the government in order to protect the life and property of our people, the life and property of Nigerians across the country.
All right, Senator.
This is our concern.
Yes.
And that's not even enough, yes?
Yes. We heard the president at the time said that Nigerians should be patient, that his security team are racking their brains on how to find solution. Now, recently, the Sultan of Sokoto said they can't, concerning the killings, in fact, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper today, it was saying that there can't be peace without justice. The Sultan, that's quoting the Sultan of Sokoto directly. Now, moving forward, because we're about to round off now, what from the meeting the elders held in Abuja, what is really the way forward now on how to tackle the killings across the country, not just in Zamfara, but across the country where there's some sense of insecurity?
Yeah, honestly speaking, in fact, that is a concern of the socio-cultural groups that held the summit yesterday. And in fact, I tell my friends, since the independence, what happened yesterday is the best thing that has happened to this country, where these socio-cultural groups that you use to project blame to one another, now they have come together because they are concerned with these killings and that they are resolute that these killings must stop. The way forward is to fish out killable Nigerians, to contest the election at the different levels of government, especially those who will be members of the National Assembly and those who will be governors, and especially the one that will be president, those that will be president and vice president. We should put all sentiments aside. All sentiment, we should put it aside. We should evolve a scientific and objective process of leadership recruitment. And I'm very glad. I'm feeling very hopeful with what these cultural groups are putting in place. They have already started drafting. They have a committee that has started work on how a credible, reliable, trustworthy presidential candidate will emerge, irrespective of political party. They are not looking at political party. They are now looking at the individual. After zeroing on that individual, then the party on which he is going to run will be decided. And this is the best thing that has happened to this country. And this is what is going to mark the beginning of a new Nigeria, a Nigeria that will not only catch up with its peers in the Committee of Nations, but a Nigeria that in future will become the hope of democracy, not only in Africa, but in the third world countries.
Okay.
So this is the only way out. And secondly,
all right,
after fishing out credible Nigerians don't have the kind of money it takes to contest election in PDP and APC. Why? Because they cannot, and a credible person, if he has the money, he will grab a voter to vote for him because he knows it is a crime, you know, by the teaching of his religion, and a crime by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So therefore, he won't bribe anybody. So the ball is now in the court of Nigerian voters to vote for credible Nigerians that have no money. I know there is unprecedented poverty in this country today. And I know the fraudulent politicians will throw money about. Let the people take the money. After all, the money is their own. But let them use their conscience
to still vote for
and
the
vote
right
for
person.
credible Nigerians.
Yes, and
that
that
will
is the
use
message.
Power, political power.
All right.
For
Distinguished
the good,
Senator,
common good of the people of Nigeria.
Yes. Distinguished Senator and political analyst Saidu Sadao, thank you very much for your analysis at this time on the show. Of course, definitely was to try to get your opinion in our subsequent editions of the show as we inch closer to 2019.